Welcome back to Men Is Everything Okay podcast. I'm your host, Ope, and we're back with...
Yes, Richie, back in the house once again.
Hey, I'm Tori, I'm back again. I'm looking forward to today's topic.
Hey, I'm Zeph, I'm back again, here with the facts and the knowledge.
Hi guys, it's Kay and I'm back again.
Going on, people, it's your boy Junior, back again.
Hi, I'm Heather, I'm back again and I'm looking forward to the topic.
Hi, I'm a newbie number one. My name is Paul, aka Garden P. A 30-something, just in the discovery of life.
So David. I'm glad to join this discussion. I know it's going to be vibrant, energy. Work at UCL as a analyst developer.
Everyone say hi!
Hey.
So today we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic. Do men know how to lead? And do women know how to be submissive? Before we begin, can we actually define what it means to lead?
I think leadership can be, really geared towards someone that can be very protective and confident. And, whoever is that leader will have to have that trust of whoever's following, and the followers will be trustful of that person, because that's how it works. But if you're talking about in a relationship, again, it's that protection and knowing that I feel safe, I'm confident, and I will follow this person and we will be.
For me, a leader is someone that practices what they preach, number one, and they're consistent in that.
Definitely.
A man that leads you will have your best interest at heart also. They're not going to abuse that power just because they are the head. I feel like you have to gain the trust of your spouse in order to be a leader, because I don't feel like every man can lead, and you're not going to trust everyone to lead you, because if he's showing signs that he's not trustworthy or he's treating you wrongly.
Can we define what it means for a woman to be submissive? Who wants to go first? Should we have a woman go first this time?
I think if I was to submit to somebody, what that would mean would be listen to them, I would trust them, I would understand where they're going, understand the direction, feel that they have like my best interest at heart, and and care for the person essentially. So yeah.
Can I just add on to that? I think also, like, with a lot of things that people have said in regards to being submissive and also leading, I think they're traits that both partners have. I feel like when you're submissive, you're kind of trusting the other person to take you or to lead you somewhere. Whereas, like, even if you feel like, okay, I might do it this way, you're trusting that person to be like, I'm going to let you, like, handle this if you like. So
Yeah, but Tori, we're talking about women being submissive. So what's the definition of women being submissive?
Okay. I think women.
She's saying in both ends that there's elements of trust that both people.
Zeph, what I'm saying is, in the things that people have said, all those traits come whether you're submissive or not. Like, those are traits come. And what I'm saying is, when you're being submissive as a woman, let me say as a woman because you're saying as a woman, it's allowing a man to be like, okay, I'm going to take the lead on this. I'm going to take the lead on this. I'm going to be in charge of this, if you like, if that makes sense. So I feel like those elements are, like Heather said, like it's subjective to the people, to the couple. But I think there are times when, as a woman, you have to be like, okay, cool. Like, you said you're going to handle this. I'm going to let you handle this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. Because you're allowing someone to lead you, so it's still a position of power, where I feel like people see submission as a negative thing, or see it as you being weak. But actually, it's powerful to have that trust and allow someone to lead you. And at any time, you can stand up and be like, actually, no, I'm not trusting where we're going with this. And you can take over the reins. And like you said, you lead in different areas, because when I was married, my ex-husband led on a lot of things, but then there was areas that I led on, and I just ran the household, free reins, whatever I did, how I decorated the house, he didn't care. But like, when it came to like what what car he would buy me. He would choose the car and I'll just drive it and be like, oh, okay, that's fine. It didn't bother me. If I ever wanted to speak out on something or have my input, he would allow me to, because that's a healthy, balanced relationship.
Agreed.
I think we're sort of talking about an interchangeable relationship, which is what a lot of us have in this day and age, 2020. But if we go across, and I mean, talk about the Western world, but if we go across other places, example, we're talking about religious relationships, and I'll be specific here. If we talk about Muslim one example, you go to places like Saudi Arabia, where the woman previously, I think it was up till 2017, couldn't drive. She couldn't even leave the house. You know, that's where we're talking submissive, where you don't have a choice in things because of the status quo of how things are. But when we talk about 2020 relationships, Western world, submissiveness is different. You know, it's completely different. So the definition is where I'm trying to understand where we're going in this conversation.
So Zeph, what do you define it as then? Because if you're saying there's like a modern day, you know, Western world definition, and then there's like an old school definition, what's your definition? How would you define it?
For me, personally, and this is my point, this conversation is a bit difficult for me because I believe in interchangeable relationships where one person is dominant, one person is submissive, and it keeps switching over back and forth, and you give each other equal say. I do have a lot of friends though who want that submissive woman. When they talk about submissive, let me start again. When they talk about submissive women, what they're talking about is they say something, whatever they say, their woman's gonna do. So if they say, look, listen, your role in the relationship is X, Y, and Z, and that means the woman will do that without no questions asked. We're trying to, you know, sprinkle a little bit of fairy dust on it and say, oh yeah, he lets me be submissive. No. Like in certain relationships, which I do know of as well, the woman is submissive in a fact where the guy will say, I don't have to say actually, I'm not cooking dinner. Like he never ever cooks dinner, ever. You know, he will say, you know, I'm not even going to go to the shop and get the food for dinner. He will say, look, I'm working these hours, and he won't even tell you when he's coming home because he doesn't feel he has to. And that's the sort of level of submissiveness I'm talking about, where you don't get questioned. The leader, the man, the leader doesn't get questioned on anything he does.
But that borders on dictatorship.
I was about to say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what he's trying to say is correct in terms of submissiveness. But that is submissiveness, though. That's what he's trying to say. That's exactly what submissiveness is. You know, someone says something, you do it. That's what he's trying to. That's what I believe he's trying to say. If that's the topic, submissive women, that's what it is. Because
I feel like there's a thin line between submission and oppression. For you to not be able to drive because a man told you not to, or you have to cook and he's standing over you, like that's borderline abuse and oppression. I'm sorry.
I actually Googled the word submission, and what it says is ready to conform to authority or will of others, meekly obedient or passive.
I get what you're saying, Karida. You're trying to sugarcoat it as in now a man should sort of make you, well, be aware when you're upset or whatever it may be. But I've seen TV shows, and I've seen like the Louis Theroux, he done some documentary even recently, and there was a woman and she was saying, I just wanted to be told what to do. I didn't want to think myself, and I really needed that. So she's sort of on the path of having men tell her whatever to do because she likes it. She wants it.
I think leading and a man leading and a woman submitting.
Yes.
Because it appears as though she wanted someone to be able to lead her.
Yeah.
So because Paul, I'm sorry, Zeph, you said that how they're two different things. But I believe that there's a link between the two.
Agreed.
In order for a woman to be submissive, a man should be able to know how to lead.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
I agree.
Because like it's really hard for a woman to submit to a man who has no idea where he's going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
That's
sometimes,
what I was going to define as being a leader. In order to lead, you have to know, you have to have a destination. You need to have somewhere that you're going, so that someone can follow you. If you don't know where you're going, you can't lead? You can't lead anything.
Agreed.
That was
Yeah,
my
but also
definition.
that person needs to understand where you're going, because if they don't, it still falls flat.
Well, that's how the partnership gets started, right?
That's true.
You discuss it beforehand, and you're like, "This is where I'm going, and you come with
Yep.
me."
Yeah. But I also think a leader knows how to utilize the people that he's leading. It's not necessarily like, I say this, I know all. It's
Right.
like, well, I know my partner's great at this, so I'm going to let her lead on this, or I'm actually going to ask her to do this because I know that I can't do that. And a leader, man or woman, but man in this case, should know like the traits of their partner, and even in terms of like even in terms of like what they're good at and what they're not good at, but also like to help them I don't know, like elevate, because as they elevate, the partnership elevates. So it's not a thing of like you're always going to stay there and I'm always going to be here, because as the woman elevates, you know, they say that we said previously that the woman is the neck and the man is the head, right? So like without the neck, you're all over the place. So you need to make sure your neck woman is strong as well, so you can stand up strong as well. So I feel like as a leader as well,
yeah,
you know that actually my woman's good at this, or she's not good at that, or she needs, do you know what I mean? So you kind of like, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but when you kind of let someone else delegate, maybe. But yeah, like there's that as well. So I think there's other elements to being a leader as well. And like Kay said, like in your partner knowing these things about you, they will know actually she's good at that. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's see if we can work things out here and there. But I do understand the whole like submissiveness in terms of a woman being like, I'm just gonna go with whatever my man's telling me. And there are women that are like that, but I think Zeph, what it is in regards to that scenario is, as we said earlier as well, like it's defining, as a man and a woman, you two in the defining what that is and defining how submissive, and do you know what I mean? Rather than it being like women saying, I just want someone to lead, and like that's great, and there's a version of women out there in the world, but there are some women that are like, I don't want to just blindly follow somebody. Do you know what I mean? So there's like
I just feel like it's about the end goal, isn't it? So
yeah.
For most people and most couples, they have an end goal and they have whatever makes them happy in a relationship. Let's say the example is, I want a house and car and, you know, I want a good lifestyle. The range of submissiveness doesn't matter, does it? Technically, if that's all you want. So if you're happy to be super submissive, but you get those things, and some people are okay with it. Some people are not. And, you know, analogy here, but if we're talking about football, you could have a captain which is a leader technically, and you could win the league. And he could be amazing, and everyone's following him and doing exactly what he says. You can have a team that gets relegated, and they have an amazing leader. Is it his fault that they get relegated? Or is it the players around him that weren't submissive enough? So
the leader will get blamed though.
Do men of today know how to lead?
I think personally, there's two elements to this. So obviously with the submissive element, I feel like in terms of women, they need to, first and foremost, they need to be willing to let their man lead on things, because there's no point having this term being submissive if like a woman doesn't want to sort of be on board with that. So that's the first thing, she's got to be on board with that term being submissive. And second and foremost is the term, is the man able to lead? So in order for a man to lead, he's got to have that ability to lead as well. So I think the problem at the moment is a lot of women feel that their men don't have that ability to lead. And then there's always this term that, oh, my man is not someone that is able to take charge. He's not someone that's like a planner. He's not someone that kind of would have all these attributes of a leader. But whereas a man might have all of those attributes, but because he may appear a little bit weaker than another man, maybe he's not as egotistical, maybe he doesn't take charge, maybe he's not as macho, he's a kind guy, he does all the regular leading things, like pays the bills, very organized in the house, looks after his wife. But he's looked at as he's weak because he doesn't come across as this kind of
that's bollocks.
Yeah, no, but it happens. It happens. A lot of women complain that, oh, my man is not, he doesn't take charge. He doesn't take charge. But at the end of the day, a lot of women as well, they don't listen to their guy. So how can you be mooning that you haven't got a man that doesn't take charge, that doesn't plan, that doesn't do all of these things, but at the same time, in other situations, can I land on this? Can I land on this? You're not willing to actually listen to a lot of things. So how can you expect your man to be someone that's going to be that leader and sort of take charge when in the past he's brought up things that you're not actually listening to anything that he's saying? So it can sometimes be a bit of a contradiction where I feel that sometimes ladies might complain that, oh, my man is not a leader. But in order for him to be a leader, you actually need to let him lead. You need to listen sometimes and actually listen to what he's saying sometimes. That's the only way he can be a leader.
Yes.
I definitely agree, but I feel like taking charge and leading, I think you're putting them in the same thing, and I don't think they're necessarily the same, because you can have a leader that's actually quite chilled and actually quite, nice, and as you're saying, I think maybe the women that you're talking about, are mixing up being a leader and taking charge. I think they're actually, because there's men that take charge, and they ain't leading nothing. You're just pushing your weight around. What are you leading? Where are you going? What's actually happening here? You're just taking charge.
A big voice, that's about it.
Sorry? Go on.
Now, just saying, innit? They just got a big voice, and that's just about it.
Like taking charge and being a leader is two different things. Like, as you said, there may be the quiet guy that does the things he needs to do and all the rest of it, and that he's leading. He's leading by setting example, doing the things. Yeah. That is a leader. That is actually.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. But can I just say something? I completely agree with you. Yeah. But on the outside, from people looking in, who's going to look more like a leader? Is it the guy that's
if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't care what people outside are looking at.
No, it's not about caring though, but it filters into the relationship sometimes. Sometimes it filters into the relationship where the girl in the relationship, because of certain things that's coming external, it will now feed into their brain that, oh, maybe...
Don't you find...
That's the problem.
Yeah, but don't you find that's where the confusion starts from?
Yeah.
This definition of what being a leader is. Like you just said, is a leader someone that's paying the bills and knows what's happening for the next family holidays for the next 5 years? Or is a leader just got a big bassy voice? He knows what he's doing in bed. Do you know what I mean? He can handle himself out in the streets. And this is what gets me confused, what women want. They could say that, you know what, like, I need a man that obviously he has to give me that appeal. He's got to be this man in the streets. He has to have a big voice. People can't fuck with him in the streets. But yeah, he has to pay the bills. He's got to know, see what school the kids are going to be going to, what's the family holidays and that. History, teaching people and that. Do you know what I mean? And you can't, don't get me wrong, there are guys out there that have the whole package, right? Most don't. Because most road dudes just know how to be road, and most, I don't know, let's say, not to say that every road person's irresponsible, but most responsible guys know that I need to pay the bills. That comes first. I
think also
what's... I get this whole mothering thing where women, they want that, yeah, you know what, I want a gritty guy, but yet they still want the clinical stuff as well.
I think it's both, because if you don't have confidence, I think it's taking charge and actually following through, because if they don't display those qualities, then you won't have confidence enough to listen and submit. Like, why would I have confidence in someone who's not chatting the chat and not following through, and put my life at risk by just listening to you? Like, I wouldn't do that. I don't think a man would do that with a woman and just say, oh, I'm just going to let this person take control, but they have proven or they've shown that they're not actually able to do that. Like, that's why I said it's such a big element of this, because
Heather's right about confidence. But then, we haven't spoken about that important thing about respect. Because if there is no respect, if the lack of respect, if that doesn't exist, no matter how good a leader you are, it means nothing.
But it works both ways as well.
I think that I believe that it's in a nature of a woman to want to submit to a man. I think that women tend to want to have men that know exactly what they're doing and understand their purpose and the role that they play in the household. I think it's in our nature as women to want those things. And when there isn't that. What tends to happen is, like you said, David, the lack of respect comes. Like, I also think Heather touched on that as well. Heather said something along the lines of, you can say you're doing certain things, but do you follow through? Like, I think sometimes men don't necessarily understand the position that you guys play. Like, you guys are the head. You guys are the foundation of the household. So if you are unstable, then everything else is unstable. The woman's going to be unstable. So if she's talking to you in a crazy way, sometimes it can actually be a reflection of how you are behaving. And sometimes it can be something that you may not even be able to see yourself. But don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying a woman speaking to you in a crazy way. It's not a justifiable thing, because women can be quite out of hand, especially when it comes to our mouth. I know that. But what I'm saying is that how when the head is unstable, the rest of it crumbles.
So basically, you're blaming men for the breakdown of any relationship.
I'm not blaming men.
Yeah, it sounded like that. Yeah.
I'm trying to say that how men have more power than they are aware of.
But can I just say something? Do they really have that power that you say? If the lady's not willing to, like David touched on, if the lady's not willing to respect the man and not willing to listen to certain things, do they really have that unexpected?
What Ope's saying is, she's saying that when it was a certain way and when she was being submissive, then the leader that's leading wasn't doing what he's meant to be doing in terms of leading, and then that's where the disrespect comes in. She's not saying it started with disrespect. She's not saying that's how it started out. She's saying that the woman came in a hypothetical situation. The woman's you've come together. The woman said, okay, I'm going to let you lead. And then he's leading and you're doing wiggle, you're doing madness. You don't know what's going on. And now she's saying, what's happening?
A lack of respect. Respect is more important than love in a relationship. You need to respect the person you're with. When people are consistently treating you badly or doing things to violate you as a human being, your respect for them will go down. Unless you're a moron, there's no way in hell you are going to let a man lead you that is cheating on you, violating you, verbally abusing you. There's something wrong with you.
What
You're
men
not
are you
going to
beating?
do
Where you
that.
beating?
That's like 30%. That's 30%.
What men are you beating? Who? What men?
That's
Where
30% of all this.
No. You lose respect for that man when they're consistently doing things that are wrong or showing you
Seriously?
things.
Seriously, Kay?
What guys are doing this?
Kay, look at all these rappers. Kay, look at all these rappers out there and their women that they're with.
Listen, rich men's rules and poor men's rules, two different rules. That's a different
Well,
topic. That's
not to say that all of them, not to say, not every rapper's rich. Not every rapper's rich. I've seen guys, hear me out.
Take from a rich man, that's
On popularity, guys could be broke. A woman will stay there and take it. Will stay there and take it. Just because a man's popular, he's got no penny in his.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean, Paul, hold on, it doesn't mean she respects him. What it means is her tolerance level's higher because she may be gaining more from that situation, but she may still not respect him and she may not be being submissive to him. She's just riding along his coattails because she's trying to get where she's getting. The thing is with women, we've been forced to boss up because in our community especially, our men has consistently been emasculated. Our men have gone through so much prejudice and racism that they've lost their way on how to lead and do certain things. So we have had to boss up and step in. So then it's hard for us to then submit.
Add to that, Kay. We have also been through that as well. Like,
right on, Kay. Right on.
The chain.
Black
women are at the bottom of the chain. So we were able, even though we were oppressed, we were still able to rise above and still cultivate and develop certain characteristics.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
We're strong. We're amazing.
Yeah, that's the truth. You're strong. So because
we didn't go for the same thing, we were probably.
did.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we've gone through. Don't get me wrong. As in other demographics of people, right? We've gone our different path, right? Our path's been a lot more rough. It's been a lot more dusty, right? It's not a tarmac path. It's been a rough path, right? So do you think? So this whole being submissive and being a leader. Do you think that's obsolete to us going by the path that we went through?
No.
And I mean, less of being a leader and being submissive and more of being coefficiency, just coefficiency. because there's a lot of emphasis on who leads and who's submissive, who's to do this and who's to do that. When there's loads of things going, obviously women's power and freedom movements going on around the place. Everything's all becoming blurred, and it doesn't make sense. Don't get me wrong. Maybe being a leader and being submissive applies to, say, a family in the 1900s. But in the 2000s, 2020s, where we're in right now, does it really necessarily?
It does, because that's a cop out. Because that's how nature is.
It's not a cop out. It's not a cop out. It's
because the men lead and women submit. That's just how we're built.
I think, Paul, it's a redefinition of it. I think, as we said earlier, there was like strict rules. Like a woman does A, B, C, D. A man does E. You know what I mean? Like it was strict. Like this is what you did. No matter who you, as a woman, this is what you did. As a man, this is what you did. But I think now, whereas like there are more things happening, like you said, like women can drive, women a lot more freedom, all the rest of it. There are different things. Women are now discovering. Let's say back in the 1930s, they didn't know that they had skills that they had, talents that they had,
exactly.
mindsets that they didn't know, right? So I feel like
I think a lot of women always knew what they had.
I think
they
it's
just
still
weren't able to. They
yes,
always knew.
I agree, definitely agree, David. So like women weren't even, they knew, but they weren't even allowed to even express it or like show it. So yeah, I definitely agree. So I think now it's like, as we said, I think Zeph said and David said earlier, I think it's about redefining what that is, and that you can only redefine that within your relationship. Like we could talk about it here, but I feel like in your relationship, you can only redefine what that is. I think there is still a need for men to lead and women to be submissive. Like Ope said, and like Richard said, it's in our nature. Like we want to do that. Do you know what I mean? And I think where things get a bit blurry is where, like, you know, because you've got a woman's movement or like, you know, women's movement, people are saying, oh, you could do what you want, like fuck them out. It's like, no, these groups aren't necessarily saying don't listen to a man. They're not necessarily, they're saying like you have power within you as well. It's not a thing of like either a woman's powerful or she's submissive. It's not. They can coexist. They can still be the same, but they can still be one. I feel like Heather touched on it as well in terms of like, and I think Kay did as well, in terms of like what men are defining as being leaders and defining as what they have to do, and it's blurry now because all the things happen. So they're like, oh, it has to be like this. And I'm not saying all men, but most of them are like, you have to do this. If you don't do that, then you're not wife material. Like I'm Nigerian, yeah, and like even how I am. And I can be quite submissive, and I think I want to be submissive, but I've never been in a relationship with a guy where like he's knows where he's going, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. And people are like, oh, it's because you're modern, you don't, all you have in the, I'm like, bruv, I still need to pay my bills.
I agree with that, Tori. The woman immediately gets blamed because the man is unable to lead, and she's just like, it, because you know the thing about that you men have is that because we trust you so much, or we want to trust you so much, that when you're unable to lead, that creates uncertainty and fear in us. And our insecurities increases to another level. And automatically, our guards are up. And
my question,
that's an
big question
important point,
is,
though.
an eye on this guy, I need to go and make sure that I've got my own thing going. The most scariest thing for a woman is being with a man who has no idea where he is going.
Oh God, yeah, agreed.
I don't know. Again, me personally, I don't know many men like that. My question is Ope, Tori, Richie, what is these characteristics you're looking for as in leading? What is it? Because my guys that I know, we're all leaders. In a relationship, we know what to do. We know our role. We know how we want to be.
Of all those people that you just mentioned that are good leaders, naturally good leaders, can I just say is one of the two issues in those situations, has it got anything to do with their lady not listening to them and not respecting them?
Junior, sorry.
Because at the end of the day, no, because at the end of the day, you can complain that your guy's unable to lead, but how do you expect him to lead if you're not willing to let him? Me personally, I'm just gonna say, okay, me personally, like with the whole submissive thing and your man leading, for me, when it comes to submission, to me, that doesn't mean I tell you what to do and you follow. That's not the case at all. For me, no matter what, it's a two-way discussion. You make decisions, I make decisions, we both make decisions as one. Submission is just that term to sort of, that was given to the man as maybe the head of the house or whatever. Maybe he has the final decision, but you will always have a discussion about it. And at more time, he might even take your decision, but at the end of the day, it's because you've had a decision, a discussion. But the problem I have, and from what I've experienced in the past, is if you have a woman that's not willing to actually listen to you and respect you as a man on certain things, you will not be motivated to show your greatness. You will not be motivated to reach that level you need to, because you need that support. Like you say, if you say a woman's a neck, or the neck is what? It's a support. If the support's not there, how can you use your head?
I agree with you.
That's all I've been trying to get out there. You need
And
that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you, but my point is, and Richie said it as well when you first brought up this point, he said, but you can leave. Why are you trying to leave someone that doesn't want to be led? Go. Why is that?
Well, then the relationship ends. You end the relationship because that person's not going to be a net.
Wait, listen. The point was, and I think opposite it as well, like when you go into a relationship, and she said in the beginning as well, which I said, when it started, if it started out like that, why are you carrying on like that? If it started out where she respected you, and then maybe there's something you need to talk about. Maybe you need to be like, oh, you're not leading the right, you should be leading. Okay, cool. But the point is, if you start out in a relationship and the woman's not listening to you straight away, she's not trying to be, why are you in that? Like, why are you?
I'm not talking about straight away. But what I'm saying is, okay, fair enough. In that scenario you just said, you could have a lady, for example, that's not going to listen to you, not respect you, but you could be so macho of a man that no matter, like, you're controlling, whatever you say goes anyway. And a lot of women are not happy in them kind of relationships because it's a controlling relationship. The man just says what goes, and that's that. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say. But you might be someone that's not like that. You might be kind-hearted, and you're not controlling. You're it's a both-way thing. But if you don't have that respect given to you, how can you do that?
But that's not the definition of it, because if a woman's with a man that is nice, if you like, if this, I'm going to use air quotes, yeah, and he's not being much.
What's wrong with being nice?
I'm saying.
Nice is good.
Let me finish.
You can be nice and still have a plan.
Let me finish. If a woman's saying, oh, my guy's too nice, or he doesn't take control, blah blah blah, that's what I said in terms of the definition of taking charge and leadership is lost, because it's not the same thing. So I'm saying is that woman or that person has got it misconstrued, because someone being aggressive and being like, it's not leading, it's not the same thing. So already there's a breakdown in what you want in terms of what it is. There's already a breakdown. There needs to be a conversation. If you're with a guy that, like I said earlier, if a guy that's like, like kind and nice, but he's still leading. I think it has.
But he doesn't get the respect. He don't get the respect. Let's be real.
Let's be real. That goes on to
Gina, you're putting too much on the women.
But what I'm saying is, on the flip side, you're saying that it's very easy for a man to just take charge. I'm saying it's not that easy. No. You need to have the net.
Right. In some situations, it's not that easy.
No one
right.
You're putting too, like I said, you're putting too much on the women.
No one once said it's easy.
You don't need someone else.
Hang on. Go on, Richie.
Why is it a two-way street?
Because if you haven't got the support, if I haven't got the support of the neck here, and you're the head, and you're making decisions, basically you're controlling, you're making decisions based on how you feel. You're not considering the other person. But I'm saying the other person needs to be on board as well for decisions to be made.
But if the other person wasn't there, would that stop you from making?
Then you're single. You're not in a relationship. You're single.
But sometimes you have to act like that. As a man, you've got your path. You have to go on that path. If someone's not leading,
but that's controlling. That's you just making a decision based on how
you're controlling yourself.
You're
controlling yourself.
I agree with him too.
I agree with Richie. Well said. That's true, Rich.
I agree with you.
I agree with Richie 100%.
Yeah.
So you agree with Richie, but what? So the woman hasn't got any input in any decision. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not that. It's that
you said you should go your own way. He said leave and go.
It's the fact that you are so driven by doing that she's there and she's adding value to your vision.
Good word.
If you're getting that response from a woman, that means you're not leading properly. You're not focused enough on what you're doing. That means she doesn't trust you. That's why you're getting this feedback.
No, I don't disagree with you, but this is the thing. A lot of women in here, you are sitting on the fence because I know that there's situations where you haven't listened to your man. So
no, but Junior, you're not listening.
Be real right now, man.
I have been in relationships where my man has been the head and led me. When I was married, my husband was the head. I was cool with that. He chose where we lived. He chose what car I drove. I didn't care. It wasn't important to me. I didn't mind. Because let me tell you something about that man. He treated me with love and respect and had my best interest at heart.
But you still have to choose your own car. That's the bit
Yeah,
that
no, he would run it by me and be like, oh, do you like this, whatever, but I didn't care. That wasn't important to me. As a woman, sometimes you need to learn when to simmer. He knew more about certain things.
Simmer when buying a car. Okay.
Wait.
Let Karina finish.
No.
We're making them kind of decisions there.
About certain things than I did. I didn't know nothing about cars or whatever. So he would be like, oh, what do you think of this, blah, blah. And I'll be like, yeah, I like it. He'll be like, okay, I'll get it for you. He would go and buy it and bring it home. I didn't care. I wasn't oppressed. If I didn't like the car, he wouldn't have got it. I didn't know about cars. He would take my car mechanic and then get it fixed and just bring it home. I didn't know what was wrong with the car. I didn't know when my MOT was due. I didn't know when my car insurance was due. He handled that. But let me tell you something. He didn't know what we were having for dinner. He didn't know what furniture I was choosing. He came home and our home was decorated. I sent him to go and buy his furniture and he was like, I can't do it without you. Can we just go on your day off? And I had to take a day off to go and choose furniture because that wasn't his remit. At the end of the day, when you're with someone good and decent that has your best interests at heart, you will know how to be submissive. And as a woman, you need to know what strengths your partner has and what strengths you have. And not everything you're going to be able to manage and be good at. And that is being a well-rounded, normal, sane person.
We're getting into gender roles.
It doesn't happen like that.
Something I don't know nothing about. That's ignorant. I'm insisting on something I know nothing about. My ex-husband couldn't cook. Why would he be in the kitchen telling me, no, you need to put more seasoning on that?
Oh, no. If you didn't give him the option, baby.
It's a rare occasion. You're that rare person. It don't happen like that.
Junior,
I cooked and I ran my house and I had a job.
It's not rare. It's not rare. It's not rare. It's actually not rare. There are women out there who still want their men to lead.